All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RCW here. I messed around with the mic settings a little bit, so I might sound a little bit different. So hopefully I sound a lot better. I'm using, I think, Voice Meter. I think it's a mixer without actually having one. It's like a digital audio mixer, so my voice sounds a lot better. I tried it on the podcast last night, so I have it now to where it sounds a little bit more podcasty, sounds a little bit more boomy, if you will, or a little bit more of the low-end podcasty sort of sounding voice. So I'm just gonna quickly see what's going on here, making sure that my audio is... There we go, I sound a lot better, actually. I just wanted to check the stream here. So, real quick, before we get into the show today, I just want to say last night, Superflu held what was supposed to be a 24-hour charity stream to help out his uncle, I believe, with heart surgery or a heart transplant or something like that. And he could only go for 12 hours because his power went out because somebody hit, I guess, a pole or whatever that knocked his power out, which totally unfortunate there, but he went 12 hours. And as part of that stream, he interviewed me on RCW, what you guys are used to seeing here on my channel, and the characters and how they, how the Outlaw characters and how all the characters that you guys know now came to be. And so it's one of those things that I never expected for these characters to be who they are today. Also, I never... Looking back on it, like, I think that's one of the best things that I've ever done was doing the interview and kind of having him just let me just talk the entire hour of just picking my brain, if you will, and really just figuring out exactly how those characters came to be and the stories behind them. And I really think it really helps you guys get an understanding of who I am as a person, but it also gave you guys a little bit of an understanding of how my creative process is, what I go through to do my creative process and stuff like that. So it's really good. Definitely check it out. It's Superfluous Gaming. I will post a link to his channel somewhere, probably in the chat here or there, and it's in his VODs. It's like the first hour and 20 minutes, I think, is just him interviewing me on the podcast and on the Turnbuckle TV podcast, wrestling podcast that him and I had started together, and it's really good, watching back over it, and he really put a lot of hard work into those questions, and we just talked about real life stuff that pertain to what I do here on the channel, and it's really eye-opening, and I absolutely love it. It's personally one of the best things that I've ever done. I think in my line of content creation, I love doing stuff like that. I love seeing the interviews and watching, wrestlers and hearing about wrestlers and hearing about how they created their characters, or hearing a band about how they made a song or something like that. It always interests me because it kind of gives you inside look of who the person is. And I always, think that that's a very, very awesome thing, and it's just amazing, and I love it. And I want to thank Superfluous for allowing me to be on our podcast to do that. And he even said in the future, if we wanted to do episodes like that, that would be completely fine with him. So I'm just really proud of that. That is something that him and I are really, really proud of, and definitely check that out if that's something that might interest you. So without further ado, let's get into the show today. We have Luna Outlaw going up against a newcomer, Ashley Blue here. She's a newcomer here. Somebody that can have an opportunity here to possibly get an RCW contract. And she will be taking on Luna Outlaw here. And you're going to notice something different about Luna Outlaw, so I'm excited to show this off a bit. So let's get to this match here. Luna Outlaw versus Ashley Blue for our opening match here on RCW Season 9, Episode 5. And so we have Luna Outlaw coming out here first. You can see her new look here. She's got a new hairstyle there. She got the purple in her hair, and the rest is dark hair. Obviously, normal dark hair. She grew out the hair, so she no longer has the shaved head anymore. Her gear's a little bit different as well. But this is the first time we've seen her with quite longer hair than we're used to seeing her with. So, thought I'd change it up a little bit. Sometimes I like to change it up with some of the wrestlers, give them different hairstyles, different looks. I really hope in the next, WWE 2K game, 2K22 that's coming out this year, we have, more than just two attires. It's one of the things that I've always wanted is more customization options for your wrestlers and everything else. Also, the ring is a little bit different. So we have the RCW logo right there in the middle. We also have the Angle Podcast, a podcast that I do with my co-host Sakate. And also, I do have my logo in there and a couple other awesome things in there too to change up the ring. Also, as far as content-wise, we got Retromania Wrestling coming out on the 28th of February, or possibly March 2nd, because they said that the consoles may be delayed because they're going through the certification process, trying to get it certified to be on the Microsoft and PlayStation stores. It's already available for pre-order on the Switch, and I'm really excited to just have another piece of wrestling content to play for you guys, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that game just yet. It's kind of just like what features are available and what match types are available, and once I get my hands on it and kind of play around with the game for a bit, I'll actually have a chance to really see how the game plays and how it'll pertain to my content going forward. Also, I want to say this one thing here as this match rolls on here. I was on the Rush Hour podcast with Bruno, TR Bruno, one of my good friends on Twitch, and Blurry Flounder, two of my really awesome good friends. I was on as a mini guest for about 10 to 20 minutes on their podcast, and they were kind of just chatting with me about my content, obviously about what I do and stuff like that, and you can definitely catch that. That's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can find your podcasts. It's on there, and definitely worth checking that out as well. They said that they could possibly have me on for a follow-up for a little bit longer because I wasn't supposed to be a guest on there. That night they just kind of needed somebody to fill, and they're like, Bruno was like, you got 10 minutes? And I was like, yeah, I got some free time. And it was just a good talk that I had, a little brief talk on my content and what I do. And you know, I got a chance to listen to the rest of the podcast when I was off, when I left the podcast, and you know, just some of the things that they said about me. I really appreciated their comments, and you know, the things like that, and it's just cool to see that people appreciate the content that I put out here, and I put a lot of work into it, and you know, Blurry and Bruno were all like, oh, it's not easy at all, and it really isn't, but I see it as easy because I've done it for 3 years now. I've put out this content for 3 years, and I've done everything that I can to make the content what it is, and you know, that's why to me it's easy. But other people may look at it and be like, I couldn't do that shit. And so, you know, it's to me, I've always been the creative person, and that's really what it is. You know, but I'm just happy that I can take my real life experiences from my real life and help people out by basically just telling people that, you know, no matter what you're going through in life, you can do it here. As Luna Outlaw rolls up Ashley and gets a kick out at 1 here. And you know, it's just really good. You know, I'm not the type of person that accepts praise very well or accepts compliments well, and you know, it's just I guess a good feeling that, you know, when you see your own friends supporting each other and you have this support circle in all of this amazing, awesome things. As Luna Outlaw is looking to do something dangerous here. She's going up to the top rope here. Looking for the double knees as the referee got in the way there. A little bit of the camera was weird here, but luckily we have a replay of it. The double knees in the corner here to Ashley. And it may seem like it should be all she wrote here. Ashley with a kick out at 2.5 here. And so, you know, it's just, to me, it's just really humbling. I'm really humbled to just know that my content is helping out so many people and is entertaining to so many people, even to those who don't watch wrestling every day or don't watch wrestling anymore at all, but still find an interest in, you know, watching my content, regardless if they watch, you know, something like WWE or AEW. Is the Into the Shadow submission here real quick as Ashley taps out real fast. The Into the Shadow submission here as Luna Outlaw wins this matchup here fairly quickly. Luna Outlaw winning that match, and I think that's a hairstyle I may keep for quite some time. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it, but you know, I think it's a good look for Luna. I think she looks really good with the purple highlights in her hair there. But Luna Outlaw gets the victory here as we move on to our next match fairly quickly as we go over to the break screen. So our next match here, we got Sky Outlaw versus Ariel. Two former RCW Women's Champions going at it here. Now, Sky Outlaw has had a couple run-ins with Ember Moon here. And it appears that they're at each other's throats, for lack of a better way of putting it. So they might have a match at the upcoming pay-per-view. Bloodbath is the upcoming pay-per-view that we have here. We have 2 pay-per-views a season, in case you're not familiar. 2 pay-per-views a season, 20 episodes a season, and we are currently in season 9. I cannot believe I'm hearing myself say that. And even though I've said it a couple times in episodes, like, it just feels so surreal to me that we have something that's going on this long. It feels very, very, just, without a doubt, just absolutely surreal to me. You know, if you told me 2 to 3 years ago when I started this show that I'd still be continuing it, I'd be like, no way. No way in hell. But we are. We are. And I think it's something very, very special. So I appreciate all of you as we get to this next match. Sky Outlaw versus Ariel here on the next match here on RCW. All right, so we have Sky Outlaw coming out here first. I gotta change her Twitter handle because that's no longer her Twitter handle anymore. So change that up. Keep forgetting to do it. But Sky Outlaw comes out here first. A little bit of a hip shake there as she's coming out and waving to the crowd a little bit, and the twirl as she comes out getting ready for Ariel here, a person that she has had many good matches with, quite the adversary for a while. Ariel comes out here, confident, walking with confidence down to the ring here. You don't want to wait any longer for this match as we have Sky Outlaw. She blows a kiss to the crowd here. A little bit of a hair flip from Ariel as we get this match underway here as Sky tries to go for the basement dropkick. I don't know where she was going with that though. And Ariel with a side Russian leg sweep. So, you know, some of you may be questioning like what's happening with the ring and what's going on with the ring and stuff, and I just like to do some different things with the ring every once in a while, especially since this is our, you know, RCW like arena that we've used for forever. You know, I like having the quote unquote, you know, sponsors or you know, kind of like that in the ring, and you know, this is all just content that I do. So you know, what better to showcase the stuff that I do than, you know, put it on the ring and make it a major part of, you know, my channel and stuff. You know, putting the Turnbuckle TV logo right there in the corner. The Bride Graphics, which is my computer graphics sort of quote-unquote business. And I design computer graphics. I've done a lot for Young Sin. Young Sin is one of the guys that I've had the pleasure of meeting and making good friends with, and you know, doing graphics for him. You know, normally I'm the type of guy that says, you know, pay for your art, pay for your, you know, like, because artists like myself, graphic artists like myself, you know, I believe that, you know, when somebody's dedicating that much time to something like that for another person, that, you know, they should be compensated for it. You know, because it's a lot of work to design the logos, and it's a lot of work to do all that, so I just do it for free because he's my friend. You know, I do it for free because, you know, it's my friend. I enjoy doing it. You know, like some people are like, you know, why don't I pay you? Like, I'm not gonna say no to that. If that's how you feel, like, I'm not gonna say no to it. But I've always been the type of person that like doesn't like to accept, you know, people's money for anything, even if it's for my own work. But you know, I've tried to help him, and I've helped him do some really cool stuff with his content. So making stuff for him and it's you know, I just like adding a lot of these cool stuff to the ring, and it's just very, very interesting. Here's Ariel with a kick to the midsection here. Now Ariel lifting up Sky here, and she takes her down easily there. Ariel's looking fired up here. She lifts her arm. Oh, trying for the slap to the face, perhaps. Oh, reversal there. Good camera angle of that. Oh, what a nice shot to the face here. Couple of shots to the face, actually. Oh, what a back elbow there from Ariel. That's going to definitely hurt the makeup of Sky. She's very, very she cares a lot about that cover girl stuff, all that makeup stuff. As Brian Outlaw likes to say, if there was a If there was a class in school that had to deal with all makeup, she would have aced it. There's a drop kick in the corner, but Sky moved out of the way of that. Front face lock there. Oh, a slap of the wrist there. Oh, and got her from the back of the head there with that kick. And Ariel and Sky going back and forth here in this match. Referee's in the way a little bit. Trying to lock the leg. She locked the leg, and Sky's got to tap out here. Ariel's going to win this match here. And she caught Sky off guard with the submission. She caught Sky off guard with the submission here. And Ariel's the one that's going to walk out with the victory. Wow, that quick. Something like that. It's hard to take down the Outlaws, but if you can catch them off guard, you can easily get a victory out of that. Wow, what a surprising victory there for Ariel, as Ariel gets the win here. But Ember Moon's got to be watching very closely as that's possibly going to be a match at RCW Bloodbath. So keep an eye out for that as we go on to our next match here, as we go over to the break screen. We're getting through these matches pretty quickly here. You know, this is something that doesn't really, we're already 30 minutes into the, almost a half an hour into the stream, and we're already on the third match as we have Chris Danger going up against Jon Moxley here. Now, this is going to be very interesting here as we still have a new title coming to RCW. It's going to be called the RCW Ravage Championship. It's going to function like a TV title. So, you know, rather than have, you know, these qualifying matches, like I had mentioned before in other streams, I'd rather just keep an eye out and kind of keep it a little bit random, kind of pick and choose who wins, or pick and choose, not necessarily who wins, but who gets a title shot. You know, I wanted it, initially the idea for the title was to give something for people to go for that aren't in world title pictures, or who aren't in a Ravage, or the Carnage title picture. You know, something to give the people to strive for, and something to make RCW a little bit more interesting instead of just having matches, because you don't have title matches every week. It's not something that we do here in RCW. However, that's something that we can do, and I think with the Ravage Championship, with it being a TV title, I think it would be very, very interesting. So this match, Chris Danger versus Jon Moxley, could definitely play a role in that, as almost every match here on RCW matters. Every match here on RCW matters. I am watching, as the GM, I am watching here, and I'm seeing just how well our superstars perform here, and it'll be very interesting to see the outcome of this match, as Jon Moxley has had a couple run-ins with Shinsuke Nakamura, so this is going to be very interesting here. Are we actually going to get a match with Jon Moxley without Shinsuke Nakamura interfering? So we'll find that out in just a few moments here as Chris Danger takes on Jon Moxley. Now we have Chris Danger making his way out here. Right there, Chris Danger. Definitely got to change that Twitter handle there. But Chris Danger making his way out. Now Chris Danger has a lot of run-ins with the Outlaw family, turning his back rather on the Outlaw family, and you know, he basically, the agreement that he made when he came to RCW, I believe in season 3, he said, I want to work with the Outlaws, and then next thing you know, he turns his back on the Outlaws, works for the now released Rogue family and Rosemary and all them, and now he's on his own warpath, and we'll see what that is here. Is Jon Moxley is going to make his way out here. He's making his way through the crowd. The innovator of violence, unscripted violence, that is Jon Moxley, making his way to the ring here. And now, I don't know if a guy like Jon has anything to prove here in RCW. Because, you know, some people, when they come here to RCW, they feel like they have a chip on their shoulder. They feel like they need to prove something. But Jon Moxley, you know, I've watched him for a really long time, and I've seen what he's able to do in the ring, and it's very, very scary, and the amount of punishment he's willing to put his body through is even scarier. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We got a little bit of tape on the shoulder of Chris Danger. He might be dealing with a shoulder injury here. Oh, wow. Taking down Jon Moxley. Oh, but Jon Moxley fires back with a neck breaker here. And Jon Moxley and Chris Danger are going at it here. Right on. Oh, what a right hand from Jon. Jon Moxley now lifting up Chris Danger with an X-Plex. An X-Plex here from Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley just tearing right into Chris Danger here to start this one off. Over Chris Danger. Chris Danger with a drop toe hold face first. Lands Jon Moxley into the canvas. Now a body slam here. Right to Jon Moxley. And Chris Danger now going right after the innovator of unscripted violence, and an Irish whip into the corner, and a knee strike here. A pop-up knee strike in the corner. Shoving Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley was met with a ripcord knee. And Chris Danger definitely proving his worth as he goes after the leg of Jon Moxley. And my God, Chris Danger is on a whole nother level here. Kick to the midsection, though, from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley with a clothesline takes down Chris Danger. And man, these guys won't even let me catch my breath yet, because this is absolutely insane here. Rope break. Oh, I think his left foot was underneath the rope a little bit. What's up, Young Sin? Good to see you in here, man. It's Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley with a missile drop kick from the top rope here as Chris Danger rolls out to the outside. Very wise there, but Jon Moxley following right after him. And we have a count out of 20 here in RCW. That is a one rule change that I believe we made in season 7 or season 8. Can't quite remember, but right into the ring post. That metal ring post face first goes Jon Moxley. And wow. What striking ability here from Chris Danger. It's Chris Danger now going to the... This is the third match, actually. We've gone through, surprisingly, this is the quickest episode so far we've had of RCW. Normally, we're not 30 minutes into the stream, only 30 minutes into the stream, and on the third match. The past two matches went really quick. Sky Outlaw ended up tapping out to Ariel due to a submission. And that was hugely unexpected there, but... You know, we'll see what happens as a result of that, as her and Ember Moon have been butting heads for the past couple of weeks here on RCW. And obviously Sinister being the RCW Carnage champion, you know, we'll see what happens with that, as Bryce Blackwell will be making his return to an RCW ring here tonight in the main event. And Bryce Blackwell was put out of commission by Sinister. And Bryce Blackwell had attacked Sinister after his match against John Cena in the last episode. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen with there, as title implications could happen here. You know, a clothesline there to Jon Moxley. Oh, and I love this camera angle here. I love these camera shots that we're getting here, these clotheslines. Great camera work from our camera crew there. As Jon Moxley gets taken down with those clotheslines. Now looking to lift up Jon Moxley, possibly looking for the final calling here, but Jon Moxley gets out of it here. And now Jon Moxley with a variation of the 1916, a variation of the 1916 DDT, and Chris Danger kicks out at 1. How does the mic sound, by the way? Does the mic sound good? Because obviously it's a little bit more boomy. I'm going for that kind of like podcasty sort of feel, and I kind of want that little bit more boomy soundish to it. So I won't be doing it for the promos. I won't be doing it for the promos when I record promos, because I don't want that for Brian Outlaw. I don't want that like boomy sound for Brian Outlaw, but for like commentary and stuff like that, I actually think it's real nice. And with all the filters that I have on my mic, it's Chris Danger right in the face of Jon Moxley. And this is not going to be good here for Jon Moxley as Chris Danger coming back here with a Pele kick right there onto Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley is in a world of hurt right now as he's looking to lift him up now and go for the final calling. A final calling on Jon Moxley. Looking to get the win here over Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley with a kick out here. Jon Moxley with the kick out. Oh, and the disrespect here from Chris Danger there with the little kick to the side of the head there, to the side of the face. But Jon Moxley's going to have nothing of it here as a reversal. Didn't follow it up with anything, though, and that's going to help Chris Danger. Is Chris Danger using his quick agility there. And Jon Moxley now has to roll out to the outside. But now Jon coming back in. Jon took a breather there and just took another shot to the head. Like, I don't know how wise this is. Jon Moxley... You know, Jon Moxley is definitely a guy that to be scared of here, but Jon Moxley almost took a little bit too long, but you know, Chris Danger almost got out of that carrying position there. But now Jon Moxley taking Chris Danger to the ropes here, and now going for a lariat. Vintage Moxley there, going for that lariat. Now looking for the 1916 again. A variation of the paradigm shift there from Jon Moxley. 1, 2, and Chris Danger kicked out at 2.5. He kicked out of it again. As Jon Moxley is livid right now. As he's going after the face of Chris Danger. He's going after the face with those punches. And again, those bare hands. No gloves or anything. I mean, Chris has got those little wristbands there. Now Jon looking to work Chris Danger down here. Some good old school technical wrestling here. Slowing the pace of this match down, and this is very wise here, but Chris Danger, what athletic ability there to get out of that. I'm not even sure what that was here, but it worked nonetheless for Chris Danger. Chris Danger now looking to roll up. Oh, but missed that there, and now Jon Moxley going to take advantage. Jon taking advantage, but now a Northern Lights suplex there from Chris Danger. And oh, what a shot. What a right hand there. He's got Jon in the corner. He's got him up here with Chris. Oh my God, Chris with the knee right to the midsection of Mox. Trying to go for another right hand, but Jon Moxley fires back with a right hand of his own. Chris Danger's a little dazed, my God. Planting the head into the canvas, and now Jon Moxley's going to take advantage. Got him up against the ropes again. Punch there, and looking for the lariat one more time. 1, 2. This could be the end of Chris Danger, and Chris Danger kicked out at 2.5 again. But now Jon John might be going for that paradigm shift once again. He's looking for it. He's going to connect with a paradigm shift again. A variation of the 1916 DDT. And now John Moxley, 1, 2, 3, and John Moxley is going to get the victory here over Chris Danger. What a match. Considering he's had his matches interfered with many, many times. Through these past couple weeks here on RCW, he's had his matches canceled out simply because Shinsuke Nakamura decided to butt his head in it. And this time we actually get a full-on John Moxley match here. And John Moxley is victorious here as we move on to our next match. As we have Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho for our next match here. Now this is a match that you're definitely going to want to see here. This is, again, every match matters here in RCW. There are no card fillers, as I like to call them. There are no card fillers, meaning that there are no matches that carry absolutely no meaning whatsoever here in RCW. All the matches mean equally. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Here we go. And you hear the battle cry, and he's the best bout machine in the world of professional wrestling. It is Kenny Omega here, coming out here to the RCW ring. Now, Kenny Omega has a couple run-ins with Kevin Owens. They had a blockbuster of a match at the RCW Ascend pay-per-view, and Kenny Omega came out victorious in that one as the best bout machine. And Kenny Omega gets ready here for Chris Jericho. Now, like I said, we still have that Ravage Championship, and we'll have a tournament for said championship coming up soon. Think of this as a scouting report. Think of this as the NFL scouts, but instead of football, it is professional wrestling. Basically, my job here as GM is not only to make the storylines and make the matches that you guys see here on your screens, but my job is to scout talent for tournaments, new talent, like new signees as well. And everything in between, so I have to be paying close attention to this match here and to all the matches as we determine who is going to qualify for said tournaments. And rather than have your qualifying matches, if you will, I like it to be a little bit more interesting. Usually we would have those. We would have, you know, the lottery case qualifying matches where if it was like a Money in the Bank style match, we would have the qualifying matches, and normally for tournament matches, we would have that. But for this, I want it to be different, because I want RCW to at least have another title in which that, you know, the wrestlers that aren't involved in major storylines get booked in some way, shape, or form. We have a little bit more, something a little bit more like interesting, I guess, because I'm always looking for ways to improve the show. No matter how perfect your show may be or how perfect your stream may be, I'm always looking for ways to improve it. So with that being said, you know, I'm really looking forward to, you know, the Carnage the Ravage Championship tournament, and what we are going to do here on RCW with that title. And basically, that title is going to be a TV title, meaning that it is defended every week here on RCW. Because normally with our titles here, the champions don't need to defend them on RCW episodes. However, they need to defend them every pay-per-view. That is a must-have. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what we do with that. What is up, Sakate? Good to see you in here, man. But stay tuned for that tournament, as that is going to be... That's definitely going to change the landscape of RCW for seasons to come. You're going to have storylines that involve that. You might have both women and male champions. So we may have an instance where, you know, the title gets vacated and the women who aren't in contention for the women's title might be Ravage champion. I mean, you know, there's plenty of different ideas that I have for this said title. I really want to take RCW to the next level, and I really think doing that would take it to the next level. And I apologize for my dogs going absolutely nuts here. A lot of people are walking their dogs out today. It's actually, even though it's a little bit snowy outside, I've seen a couple of people walking their dogs today, which is nice. I mean, it's nice to see. I get a lot of dogs in my neighborhood that walk. It's usually the same people, because I live in one of those neighborhoods where everybody knows everybody. So, you know, it's kind of like we all know you know, we have a lot of pizza places around here. So one of the things about my town is everybody knows the owner of the pizza place. You know, everybody knows this person. In a way, it is kind of creepy because, you know, if you get in trouble with the law here, everybody knows. So your business is everybody else's business. And me, I didn't grow up here. This is not the place where I grew up, where I live now. But I've been in a lot of towns, a lot of small towns where that's how it is. Where you get, you know, you're all up in people's business. Just because apparently it's kind of like how social media is, where everybody likes to share their business. That sort of thing. That's basically how it is here with the town that I live in, and the towns that I've lived in the past. Is Chris Jericho here, making a comeback here against Kenny Omega in the double axe handle. It's Chris Jericho, Le Champion, as he calls himself. And I absolutely love Chris Jericho. I'm actually supposed to meet him this year, actually. I'm supposed to meet him. And the good news is, I don't know how it is for people over here, or people over in your states. But the good news is, where I live here in New York has some of the most strict COVID restrictions. And you know, it sucks. It really does. You know, compared to like Florida and you know, the states that don't have as restricted restrictions for COVID. But you know, I'll tell you guys this: when the pandemic had first hit, I didn't leave my house for like 2 months. I had food and everything else, but I didn't leave my house for 2 months because I have nowhere to go. See, I'm the type of person where if I have nowhere to go, I'm not going to go anywhere. So, you know, if I don't have a concert to go to or something fun to get me out of the house, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay here. I have, you know, my internet, I have, you know, my Xbox, I have streaming, I have all this crap. And I realize now that because of the pandemic, that the whole stigma of people playing video games, of people streaming and stuff like that, that's starting to go away because, you know, that's the only choice we have for entertainment now. But the good news is, February 23rd, venues here in my state of New York can start opening again. and we can start doing events again. At 10% capacity, they said. So that's going to be very interesting, and I hope as the months get warmer and as the vaccines come out and stuff like that. I personally myself won't be taking it if it gets offered, because I prefer somebody who is at risk to get it, like my grandfather, because my grandfather had COVID. He is okay. He's fine. He is completely fine. I had COVID. I had it a while back, and I was lucky to not have as many symptoms. I had the raspy breathing and coughing, but I didn't have anything else. I didn't have the fever, the body aches, everything else. So I was very, very, very fortunate to not completely feel like shit. And I actually made a video of a tutorial video during my thing. So basically what happened is I think I got some bacterial infection as a result of COVID, because there was like 2 weeks where I just felt like complete garbage, that I had no idea why. And I don't get sick, by the way. You're talking to a person that doesn't get sick, and if I do, it's really, really bad, or it only lasts for 2 weeks and I'm done. So I fight off stuff really, really quick. But when I get sick bad. And I think that's because I don't get sick a lot, because I know a lot of people who get sick a lot, but when they do, they get over it quick. So I was sick with whatever this was, and then my mom was like, "You're hacking up stuff. Let's go to the doctor." And they're like, "You have bad allergies." And I was like, "Yes, I do have bad allergies, but there's no way that this is just allergies. This is something else." And they're like, "We're gonna put you on these allergy meds." Because I initially wanted to go to the doctor for, allergy meds. That's what I wanted, because I kept on taking, like, Allegra D and over-the-counter shit that you buy from, like, Walmart. And then that wasn't working. Like, the stuff that I take for, medication, because I've been in and out of the hospital with surgeries, and, I've taken, painkillers like Vicodin and stuff like that. I have to take stuff that is really, really strong. Despite how skinny and scrawny my body is, when it comes to tolerance, which is something that, you have with alcohol, how people can handle a lot of alcohol versus people who are lightweights who can't handle a lot of it. When it comes to medications, if it's not strong, it's not going to have an effect on me whatsoever. So it's one of those things. And then I had to take these antibiotics that they put me on, which made me feel even worse, because it's the antibiotics where they basically, it makes you feel like your stomach is in knots. You don't want to eat anything because you have a loss of appetite because of the antibiotics making you feel like garbage. It was not fun. Moral of the story is it's not fun. And so I'd rather have somebody who needs the vaccine more than I do to take it. But if I have to take it to go to concerts, if I have to, that's going to be the ultimatum for me. If I can't go to concerts without taking it, then I will. But other than that, I prefer somebody like my grandfather or somebody who is at risk to get it, more than somebody like me who can recover from it likely. Chris Jericho kicks out here. But that's my little story for you guys there. I hope that all you are, staying safe and enjoying yourselves, or at least trying to find some enjoyment throughout all of this. And, Chris Jericho, he's been busted open here as Kenny Omega rushing in with the drop kick into the corner there. And he's got Chris Jericho right in the corner. He's looking to run, and what a V-trigger knee right there in the corner there to Chris Jericho. 1, 2, and Chris Jericho with the kick out. Kenny Omega, the best bout machine. Looking to end it here with one more one-winged angel. Here on Chris Jericho as he fully connects with that one-winged angel here. 1, 2, and 3. And Kenny Omega gets the victory here. Kenny Omega is definitely looking ahead to the Ravage Championship Tournament. As anybody of RCW, anybody on RCW, anybody that's a part of the roster can join that tournament. So, that there's only a couple spots for it. So, rather than have qualifying matches, and have, just have people, basically not necessarily not earn their way, but rather than just have your typical qualifying matches, I am watching very closely as to how our superstars are going to operate here in RCW when making that tournament. And that tournament is going to be one of the best tournaments ever in RCW history, and it's going to change the entire landscape of this show. So make sure that you guys don't miss any of that. And if you do miss any of this stream by any chance, that is completely fine. It goes in my VODs afterwards, and it also goes on my YouTube 24 hours after this airs. So tomorrow, it'll be going on my YouTube channel. I will get it edited down and, all that for you guys on the YouTube side of things. But let's get to our next match here, which I believe is our main event of the evening. And our main event of the evening is as follows. We have Jason Outlaw, one half of the Outlaw brothers, with Sinister, the RCW Carnage champion, at his side versus the returning Bryce Blackwell. Bryce Blackwell made his presence known in last episode of RCW when he jumped the guardrail or jumped the barricade, attacking Sinister from behind. Well, unsuccessfully that is, because Brian Outlaw was at ringside. And yes, Sin, I will talk to you possibly after stream on how to, really use that software. However, there are some videos on YouTube that could help you out as well. But I will give you a ring after stream, and I will do that for you. I will do that for you. Real quick, I will be right back, as I got to check to see what the dogs are going nuts over. Okay, everyone, I apologize. I had to take care of that. Somebody's walking their dog like I predicted, so it's the same dog that I see every day. It's a shocker that my dogs can't remember that it's the same dog that they see every time, but, you know, sometimes I don't even check what they're barking over because I kind of already know, but in that instance I did, so. Also, you may notice in the microphone that with this mixer that I'm using, this digital mixer, it's a completely free mixer. It's because of the settings that I have on this mixer, it doesn't really pick up the clicks of the controller unless you like really, unless you like are really going hard on the analog sticks. You know, it doesn't really pick up a lot of the clicks as the normal Yeti would. The Yeti does pick up a substantial amount of background noise and stuff like that. That's just because it's a condenser mic versus a dynamic mic. But hopefully with the mixer, it sounds a lot more boomy and a lot. The audio just sounds a lot better because this is what I will be using for streaming. And my videos. The only thing I won't be using it for is obviously the promos, because I don't want that sound for Brian Outlaw. That's too much low end there. So let's get to our main event of the evening, and that is Jason Outlaw versus Bryce Blackwell, the returning Bryce Blackwell, with Sinister at his side here, at ringside. At Jason's ringside, that is. Big Nasty, on the other hand, he is still nursing an injury, a concussion injury, which hopefully he'll be back sooner than later. But he was beating the living... He got the hell beaten out of him. He got the hell beaten out of him, you know, by Lance Archer, so... He might be out for a long time. So, who knows? But let's get to this match, folks. Bryce Blackwell and Jason Outlaw. Oh, by the way, I guess now is a good time as any. So I went ahead and I revamped the merch store. I took some designs off of it. I took kind of the half-assed ones off. Because I just wanted some merchandise. And the people that I use for my merch store, Teespring, they went through like this whole like remodel where the pages are remodeled, they look better. And everything else, and now you can start selling digital products. So that's where I want to ask you guys. So if I were to sell wallpapers and stuff, if I were to make like wallpapers and stuff, what would you guys want? The wallpapers would be relatively cheap, probably like $5 a pop or something, or maybe $8 to $10 a pop or something. They would definitely be cheaper than the shirts are. And they would be, there's also like audio stuff too. So basically I can sell promos. Would that be something that you guys would be into? Like, let me know what you guys would want out of that here as Bryce Blackwell comes out here. But let me know what you guys would want, because there's like a lot of possibilities. Like, I can sell wallpapers, I can sell music, I can sell, because I used to make music, so I can get back to making music again. I can sell that. If you guys need background music, or I can sell wallpapers, like wallpapers for your phones, or I don't know who would pay for that, but you know, something, you know, something relatively cheap, you know, on the cheaper side of things. And I like to keep my products, my merchandise, you know, on the cheaper side of things. I kind of go with an average price. Like, you know, hoodies are like 30 to 40 bucks. So, you know, the hoodies are 30 to $40 on my store, that kind of thing. You know, because to me, it's not about me making money. It's about you guys having something to wear and just having a badass shirt or badass merch to wear. It's not about money to me. So let me know what you guys will want to see. I'll see what's available to sell in terms of the digital products and some of the new stuff that they have. And I'll come up with some designs and we'll do that. That is what we'll do. So is Bryce Blackwell making his way to the ring now. I wonder how much Sinister is going to play a role here in this match here as Bryce Blackwell almost gets taken down, but usually gets taken down by that drop kick, but Bryce Blackwell kind of just no-sold it there as Bryce Blackwell taking a little bit of punishment early on here. And Jason missed whatever he was going for there, and an Irish whip into the ropes here, drop down here from Bryce Blackwell. And Bryce Blackwell didn't really do much with that either, but a couple of punches. And a knee lift right there to Jason. And these two have had quite their battles here on the EWL, the Epic Wrestling League. You know, this is the first time we've really seen the Blackwells really have some type of role here on RCW in this way. I mean, the Blackwells and Big Nasty, Amaya, and Bryce, they've had their roles here, but this is the first time we've seen you know, the Outlaws and you know, the Blackwells really like intertwine, I guess, here on this universe. I mean, if you've been to Sakate's streams, you obviously have seen them. How did I make the stream so clear? Is that what you're talking about? It literally just is my Elgato. That's all it is. I didn't do anything to it. I know that you mentioned that when you stream, yours is fuzzy. I don't know if it's because of your Elgato or what it is, but this is the newest Elgato. I still have my old one that I have to give to my friend. This is the Elgato HD60S. This is the USB Elgato, so it's not the internal one that you put in your computer because I only have a laptop. So this is just going from my Xbox USB 3.0 to my computer, and I haven't done any. I only do the filters and everything else after the stream when I go ahead and I edit stuff. So that's the only time I mess around with it. As far as like color and clear and stuff like that, I don't do anything to it via streaming. It's just the way the Elgato is. That's pretty much the only way I can explain it. There really is no way of explaining it otherwise. As Bryce Blackwell going for this lackluster cover here. And just a kick out at one. There's a lot more left as Bryce Blackwell going up top here. Bryce Blackwell, Bryce with the elbow drop right there. On to Jason O as he tried to do something, a jawbreaker here. Right to Jason Outlaw, checking that kick there from Bryce. And now Bryce has Jason up, and now another reversal into an inverted DDT. Sending Bryce Blackwell down, and this return might be a little spoiled here as not jailbreak, freaking bail kick from Jason Outlaw there. I'm getting my Outlaws mixed up here with Brian and Jason or their moves mixed up anyway. There's a knee lift that takes out Bryce Blackwell all the way onto the outside. And I think that's the first time I've seen Jason actually hit that. And he's going for the splash here, but he crashed and burned. Got a little bit overzealous there. Now he might be in a world of hurt as an elbow right to the face. Elbow right to the face. Count of 2 as both men are back in the ring now. We have a count out of 20. Bryce Blackwell being busted open. I think it was off that knee. Off of that knee there. And now Bryce takes down Jason there. Now he's doing a little bit of taunting. I don't know how wise that is. That is not very wise as a leg drop there. 1. And a kick out. And Bryce can't believe it. And I don't know why he's showing up like that because, you know, you got to do a lot more than that to take him out. Looking for the mouth kick, and he connects with the mouth kick. The spinning roundhouse mouth kick there, right to the face of Jason Outlaw here. And young Sin, or Sinister rather, distracting the referee. And I knew that Sinister was going to play a role in this match. I just knew it. And I think, you know, it is because as Jason gets busted open here off of that kick right to that face here, I think it's because of the common enemy that they have in the Blackwells. I really think that's what it is. It's sort of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know, the Outlaws, they don't really work well with other people, but when it comes to having common interests, it's a little different. As again, Bryce Blackwell with the mouth kick. 1, 2, and Jason again kicked out at 2.5. And Bryce Blackwell is livid right now. And now he's going up to the top here. Possibly going for that elbow again, but that splash instead. And Jason got the knees up here. Jason got the knees up. Kick to the midsection. And chopping the big man down here. There's a little bit of a size difference here. Significant size difference between Bryce and Jason here. Is a VR knee strike. No. Bryce reversed it. Bryce reversed the VR knee strike. Oh, but Jason reversed. Bryce reversed in this back and forth contest. Both men are bleeding profusely. Our crimson mass here is a DDT. Now looking to lift him up. Oh, what a shoulder tackle. And these two are just beating the living hell out of each other. If the blood on their foreheads or the blood on their faces wasn't enough to really tell you that, I don't know what is right now. A couple of shots right to the midsection. I don't know if that was wise for Bryce to go for the working holds. As both men are absolutely winded here. Jason Outlaw trying to pump himself up here. Now he might be going for the VR knee strike again, and he connects this time. He doesn't need that running start this time. He only got a little bit. He only got like about a half step of a run start, but that connect either way. 1, 2, and Bryce kicked out at 2.5. Bryce is still in this somehow. And now Jason. Uh-oh. He's going for something here. He's going to try to put Bryce through the table, perhaps. This is something that he knows, that Bryce knows all too well, because he was already put through the table. That's what gave him a concussion. That's what put him out for quite some time. That's what put him out for quite some time, and now Bryce looking to turn the tables here. Bryce again with a shot right to the face. Uh-oh, what's Bryce doing? Bryce is going up for that elbow drop, and I don't know how wise that is. He keeps going up to the top rope, and it's not working out for him. Oh, Bryce turned around as Jason tried to grab the foot and it didn't work. And both of these guys are on the outside just fighting here. Fighting here on the outside. Oh, and it appears that Bryce Blackwell may be going through that table again. As Jason's looking to do something huge here. Oh my God, he's not gonna launch himself all the way to the table and elbow drop Bryce Blackwell through the table. He just launched himself all the way to the table, taking out Bryce Blackwell. He can't pin him out there, though. He's gonna get him in the ring. Gonna drag him away from the ropes. But I don't know if that's too much time. 1, 2, 3, it's not! Jason was able to get the victory here over Bryce Blackwell, spoiling his return. And not only that, putting him through a table. But Jason had a little help here, because he had Sinister at his side, so makes me wonder, what if Sinister wasn't there? Would this be different? But who knows? As Jason Outlaw, with that crimson mask as you see there, gets the victory over Bryce Blackwell here in the main event. So with that, I thank you guys for joining me for another episode of RCW. It's been a blast doing this show for you guys. If you're wondering where I have been, for a while, where I've been, and in terms of streaming, I like to take a little bit of a break here and there. I used to, have this full-blown schedule, all this crap, and everything. But I realized doing that, I sacrifice YouTube content. Because when I'm not streaming, I'm either, 1, on Discord with people, 2, editing the stream that I already done, or 3, making YouTube videos and editing them. So those are the 3 things that I'm doing. And then a 4th thing could be watching wrestling, but those are the things that, I've been doing is that. And so if you're wondering, if you ever wonder where I go for like 2 to 3 days without streaming, it's probably because I'm making YouTube content. And to be honest, making YouTube content takes a lot more, I guess, editing, and takes a lot more, I guess, to put together than this does. And it's going to sound kind of weird because of how I make my storylines and stuff. And because in the podcast that I did last night with Superflu, to kind of conclude the stream and wrap it all up here, I don't write anything down. I don't write any promos down. I don't, do anything else. I don't do anything, written, because I believe that the best things often come out of, random stuff. This whole show came out of the random idea of, what if I managed my own wrestling show? That was the whole idea. That was the whole thing behind it. So it is very, very, it's a lot of hard work, putting this show together and doing all this YouTube videos and stuff. And I just want to say, it kind of goes without me saying it, but I really appreciate all of the support. And that includes the people who watch the stream. That includes Rosemary, the Butcher, the Blade, Gregory Iron, Mick Foley. You know, all the people that I've met or interacted with in the wrestling industry, or all the people that I've interacted with because of this show alone, because of the Outlaw character, because of my love for wrestling. None of this would have happened without any of you guys or without any of those people. So I think it's only right to thank you guys for everything that you guys do. And you guys are as much a part of the show as I am the one making it. So I really appreciate all of you for, you know, tuning in. Even if it's for a few minutes and you catch the VOD, or you catch the YouTube video when it's uploaded, or just anything, is just awesome. And it's fantastic just to see what this whole thing has turned into. I wouldn't have met, you know, Sakate or Youngson or any of those people if I didn't start doing this. But, you know, it's not just about meeting those people. It's really about, like, the story that is unfolded with the Outlaws. I'm making a book out of these things, out of these characters, out of these characters that are from a freaking video game. Like, you know, and it's like what Blurry and Bruno said on the podcast that I was a part of, the Rush Hour. Again, you can check that out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Actually, I think I'll post a link to it on my Twitter, because it's definitely worth checking out. I'm in there for like the first 10 to 20 minutes. I think it's like I start to talk, or I'm in there about the 20 to 30 minute mark in that podcast. But and I just talk for like 10 to 15 minutes about like what I do here on Twitch. And I love the way like Bruno put it. And he kind of put me over, so to speak, by saying that, you know, he basically said that he loves my content and he loves what I'm doing because it's taking characters from a video game and making essentially a WWE production out of it. And that's basically what he said. And, you know, it's crazy because both Blurry and Bruno were like, oh, that doesn't sound easy at all. And I was over there saying, oh, it sounds easier than it, you know, and they're like, no, it doesn't. It's not easy. And I'll admit, other people may not see it as easy because they haven't done it for 3 years. But like I always tell people, you know, when you do something enough, it comes naturally to you. Like it's like second nature. Like you don't have to think about it. It just happens. And that's kind of how, you know, the Outlaw character is. And yes, he's evolved over time. And I used to, you know, have scripted promos, but now I can just cut them unscripted and just do whatever. So, you know, I'm really appreciative over just everything that has transpired because of the show, because of the YouTube content, because of everything. We put Sky on Cyberpunk. We're doing this whole promo thing for Eliza, and you know, we're doing all these other things. Speaking of a promo thing for Eliza, I have the next one recorded, the one that I kind of teased the teaser of. I have the next one recorded. I'm going to edit that. I'm going to make sure that that gets all squared away and get that out to you guys. Also, I got the Behind the Mask episode 2 and I believe Sky's the Limit episode 2 promos done. I just got to record the in-game footage for those, and I should have those done. So I got plenty of stuff coming for you guys, but I want to just say thank you. And I know I do this pretty much every stream, but you know, I'm beyond humbled for everything that wrestling has given me. I wouldn't, if it wasn't for RCW, I probably wouldn't have, you know, been in Paige's stream doing all that stuff and everything else. You know, I probably wouldn't have, you know, started talking to Rosemary. I probably wouldn't have started talking to Deanna. I probably wouldn't have done any of this. It's because of the Outlaws that I'm doing everything that I've been doing now. It's because of the Outlaws I moved, I changed colleges, I did all of this stuff. I basically dictate my life because of these characters, and they play such a major role in in my life that I want to do it for a living. I want to be out there and I want to act out the character for wrestling promotions and do it for a living. And it's all because of you guys. So I'm very appreciative of that. I thank you guys, and I will definitely catch you guys on the next stream. Keep an eye out for YouTube videos and stuff, as my dogs go absolutely nuts. They always do. Probably because the dog's walking back, the same dog that was walking back before. But I appreciate all you guys. I love all you guys. And you guys make the show what it is. I may be the mastermind behind it all, but you guys play as much of a role in the show as I do. Yep, they were going nuts because there's a dog that somebody walks. I think it's like a neighbor down the street or something. So that's why. I'm really close with a lot of the neighbors down the street here, so a lot of people walk their dogs, especially in the warmer months. I see the same people walking their dogs all the time. That's a normal occurrence here, so. But I love all you guys, and this show wouldn't exist without you. I will catch you guys on the next stream. Keep an eye out for more YouTube videos and more content on the YouTube side of things. I wanna grow my TikTok a lot more. So definitely check out my TikTok. A link is down in the About Me thing right there. For Twitch. I need a command for that. I'm definitely gonna get a command for that. I need to take one day and just do the bot and have the Streamlabs bot and do commands for it and all that, and have commands for it and stuff. But I thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys on another episode of RCW. This has been RCW, and I will catch you guys next time.